Biden hopes for greater oil and Israeli integration at Arab summit in Saudi Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. U.S. President Joe Biden meets with Arab leaders in Saudi Arabia on Saturday, seeking to influence Washington's Gulf allies to pump extra oil and to integrate Israel inside the area as a part of a new axis, in large part driven via shared issues over Iran. Biden, on the second leg of his first Middle East experience as president, has targeted on the planned summit with 6 Gulf states and Egypt, Jordan and Iraq, even as downplaying assembly with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, a pass that has drawn complaint in the United States over human rights abuses. Biden had promised to make Saudi Arabia a pariah on the global level over the 2018 murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi via Saudi dealers. However, in the long run, determined U.S. interests dictated a recalibration, now not a rupture, in family members with the sector's top oil exporter and Arab powerhouse. Biden wishes Saudi assist at a time of high crude expenditures and different problems related to the Russia-Ukraine battle, and as he encourages efforts to cease the Yemen war, in which a brief truce is in vicinity. Washington additionally desires to lessen Iran's sway within the location and China's international influence. The U.S. president will preserve bilateral talks with the leaders of Egypt, the United Arab Emirates and Iraq earlier than taking element in the wider summit, where he's going to lay out his imaginative and prescient and method for America's engagement within the Middle East, U.S. country-wide security advisor Jake Sullivan stated on Friday. He's motive on making sure that there isn't a vacuum within the Middle East for China and Russia to fill, Sullivan stated. Biden will speak energy supplies with Gulf oil manufacturers. However, Washington said it does now not anticipate OPEC heavyweight Saudi Arabia to boost oil output without delay and will watch for the final results of an OPEC Plus meeting on August 3. Gulf states, who have refused to side with the West towards Russia inside the Ukraine war, are in search of a concrete commitment from the USA to strategic ties which have been strained over perceived U.S. disengagement from the location. Riyadh and Abu Dhabi have been frustrated by means of U.S. situations on fingers sales and for being excluded from U.S.-Iran talks to restore a 2015 nuclear percent that they see as flawed for now, not tackling local concerns about Tehran's missile program and behavior. The most critical call from the Saudi management and different Gulf leaders and Arabs in well-known as readability of U.S. coverage in its route closer to the vicinity, stated Abdulaziz Sager, chairman of Riyadh-based Gulf Research Center. Israel, which stalks their concerns over Iran, recommended Biden's journey to the kingdom, hoping it might foster a warming between Saudi Arabia and Israel as a part of a much wider Arab rapprochement after the UAE and Bahrain's solid ties with Israel in U.S.-brokered pacts that received Riyadh's benefits. In a sign of development beneath what Biden described as a groundbreaking procedure, Saudi Arabia mentioned on Friday it might open its airspace to all scheduled carriers, paving the manner for greater overflights to and from Israel. Washington and Riyadh also introduced the removal of U.S. and other peacekeepers from Tehran, an island between Saudi and Egypt, in a strategic function leading to the Israeli port of Eilat. The troops have been stationed as a part of accords reached in 1978 and which brought about a peace deal between Israel and Egypt. The U.S.-Arab summit could speak tighter coordination and collaboration when it comes to Iran, Sullivan said, in addition to local integration, which include that of Iraq, where Tehran has constructed deep have an impact on. Support by using wealthy Gulf states for global infrastructure and funding may also be discussed. The United States and Israel are also looking to put the basis for a security alliance with Arab states that would join air defense structures to fight Iranian drone and missile attacks in the Middle East, sources have mentioned. Such a plan would be a difficult promote for Arab states that do not have ties with Israel and flinch at being a part of an alliance visible as against Iran, which has built a sturdy community of proxies across the region, which includes in Iraq, Lebanon and Yemen. Senior Emirati respectable Anwar Gargash mentioned on Friday the concept of a so-called Middle East NATO turned into difficult and that bilateral cooperation was faster and greater effective. The UAE, he stated, might now not return to confrontational approach. We are open to cooperation, but not cooperation concentrated on another United States of America in the place, and I mainly mention Iran.